We are now at the heater installation part of the process. For the heater, what you want to do is look at the manual and see what is the minimum height the heater needs to be. So for this particular one, it needs to be between 7 and 12 inches. And they will be screwed into these two holes at the top of the heater. So you need to take into consideration the height of these holes. So for this one, they're at 16.5 inches. So if you add the 7-inch, you need to be at a minimum of 23.5 inches. But since the heater, the sauna is round, obviously if you put it at 23.5, the bottom right is going to be hitting. So you want to lift it up a few more inches. So I'll go at 27.5 inch and we'll test it from there. In order to install it, you'll need these two pieces of wood, which will be going on the inside of the sauna, one at the top and one at the bottom, this way, to support the heater. So let's go check it out. So we're now inside the sauna and we had our 23.5 inch measurement from earlier. We'll go a little bit more. So let's say 27.5. So add 4 inches. You can place a mark here, 27.5, and take your first piece of wood that will support the top part of the heater. So you slide it down here and my mark at 27.5, so it goes a little lower. So actually this piece fits pretty much perfectly. My mark is right in the middle. So I have my little level here. I'll place it leveled. So I'll mark where this piece would go. Go here and here. And then we'll test out with the actual heater, see if it's lifted off the ground everywhere. So we temporarily place the piece of wood that's just stuck in between. So we come with our heater and we'll just place it in front and hold it more or less where it would be and try to see if it's going to hit the ground on any side. So you see here, I'm able to push it all the way against the glass, so it won't be touching the ground. So this should be a good height. Okay, so now that we know that this piece of wood is at the right height, we'll be drilling it into the frame. Make sure to pre-drill your holes because you are drilling right at the edge of the board. So if you don't want it to split, pre-drill on each side. So 1, 2, 3, and your fourth one. Make sure to follow your lines, and here we go. So this is the board that will be supporting the whole weight of the heater. The second board that we have is going to be installed lower down, and it's just so when the heater is pushing down, it's not going to be hitting the glass, but it's going to be hitting the piece of wood. So we can install this later to position perfectly once the heater is installed. So for the actual heater, we'll be putting 2 screws that will be supporting it, but you want to make sure they're exactly at the right distance so they fit in the hole. So you go back to your heater. So these are the 2 holes that'll be supporting it. Take your tape measure and you measure what's the distance between. So we have 14.5 inch from one screw to the next. So you want to make sure that you pin 14.5 on your board. The first screw you want to put, you don't want it on the rim of the board. You want it really in front of the glass. So you can just position probably about 1 inch from the siding there. And if you want, you can even measure the width of the board, which is 3.5 inch, and you put it right in the middle. So you have 1 inch and 5/8. So you place that 1 inch and 5/8, and then you take your measurement from earlier, which was 14.5 inches. So take your measurement, you go at 14.5 inch, mark it down, and then you make sure you put it at the same distance on the board, which was 1 and 5/8. And then you have your center point. So these will be your 2 screws that will be going in. So same thing. So once you're done drilling, you want to make sure to leave about a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of threads so that the sauna can come and clip onto these bolts. You don't want it flush to the wood. So the heater is installed now, and we need to put the second piece that's going to support the heater from wobbling from front to back. So originally I had taken this piece, but as I'm trying to put it, it's not long enough to hit both sides of the frame. So I'll go back to my crate and grab a longer piece like this, which has the flat end, which I'll have to cut at the perfect length. So what I do, I know I want to place it roughly at the bottom of the bracket. So I'll mark myself a little mark here, a little mark on the other side. So you have your 2 lines that you marked. Take your tape, you take it from the edge all the way to the center, and you have 23.5 inches. So you'll take your piece of wood, cut it at 23.5, and come and place it underneath. So you now have your piece. I cut mine with a slight angle so it fits the round of the sauna. So the long part is 23.5, and then a little shorter on the other side. You'll come and place it here. Make sure you place it level so it looks nice. And then you'll do the same thing, pre-drill 2 holes on each side, screw it in, and there you go. So we are now at the final part of the build and the easiest part, installing the floor. So you may choose to screw it in or not, but we usually recommend not to screw it in. So if ever you want to give a thorough clean of the sauna, you're able to remove it and then place it right back in without having to remove any screws. So here we go. And there you have it.